Hello all and welcome back to Big Discussions. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. I am the owner and founder of this channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please check out my blog, the Big Words blog site, and follow me on social media. All that information is in the banner for this channel. So my goal is to get in and out of this video pretty quickly. I actually just decided to make this video within the last couple of hours. It's been a long day. I just gave a toxicology lecture here in Albany, New York, which is a bit of an annual ritual for me. But as I got here yesterday, as I drove from the train station, I heard that John Singleton had passed, and for me that's significant, and so I just wanted to make a video and do a quick salute to him because of his work. I actually put together a thread on one of my Twitter accounts, my original Twitter account, yesterday, just kind of rambling about who he was and what his movies meant to me. So I'm just going to kind of bounce off that thread a little bit and just kind of talk off some of the points that I mentioned there. So, in addition to the master storytelling in his films, particularly about black people on the West Coast in Los Angeles, I thought there was definitely an authenticity and a depth to John Singleton's movies and his characters. And the first movie I saw was Boys in the Hood, and I saw that when I was a middle schooler, going into high school. So, at that time I was into NWA and Ice Cube, and so I think I understood the majority of what was going on, but I didn't understand the depth of everything until I got a little bit older. I do remember, because I listened to NWA and Ice Cube. I think that's when Ice Cube initially went solo. I think I was excited about seeing him play the character that he normally played in his music. So I remember the trailer when they were on Crenshaw, and he was like, the guys walking by said, "Is there a problem here? Is there a problem here?" So I was excited about that. But I remember leaving the theater. My mother was crying a little bit. Her eyes got a little red, and my brother looked at her, and he said, "Mom," he said, "are you crying?" And she was kind of moved by the fact that Doughboy and Ricky's mom had lost both her sons. So my mother identified with that part of the movie pretty much. Something I kind of intuitively understood, because my parents split when I was 3, was I kind of intuitively understood the importance of having a father or a male figure around. I didn't completely understand the depth of it until I started to mature into manhood myself. I thought that was a very powerful part of Boys in the Hood, the relationship between Furious and Trey, and also the fact that Trey's mom got to a point where she realized that there was nothing more she could do for Trey, or put another way, that he needed the guidance of his father, or he needed the guidance of a male figure to help him progress into manhood. And that's something that in my own life I've kind of found to be true as well. In that movie, when he first moves over with Furious is tough on him, and he makes him rake the leaves, and he tells him, "Okay, these are all your chores." and he was tough on Trey in such a way that his mother wasn't. And I'm a firm believer that most boys need that. They need someone to be tough on them, and they need someone to be hard on them, and to let them know that, look, the real world is gonna require these things from you, and it's not gonna care about your feelings, and it's not gonna care about you. So, Trey and other young boys who have someone there to pass that part of manhood on, I think are much better off than the boys who are coddled for most of their teens and mature into manhood that way. So that part of the movie really stood out to me when I look back on it. Let's see. So the theme of fathers was important, and this is really important, the Fathers and Mothers thing, because Mother's Day and Father's Day are coming up. So let's see, that stood out to me. My father, even though my parents split, he stayed in contact with us, and he got visitation, and I was always grateful for that. But I always wondered what it would have been like to have a male figure, a strong, positive male figure in the house all year round. Let's see. What else? I'm reading through this thread that I wrote. Yeah, so boys need a healthy level of toughness. Let's see. And, I wonder if John Singleton, it's funny that that was the main theme of the movie. And now, 20 to 30 years later, we're dealing with a fear of toxic masculinity and patriarchy. So in a way, John Singleton may have been telling us that, hey, masculinity and patriarchy and manhood, those things are important. He may have been, I think he was telling us that back in the day, and it's just funny that those things are kind of under attack right now in mainstream society. In terms of the black community, I don't know if a lot of this was happening back then, but John also shined a light on households where there are multiple children with different fathers. And Doughboy and Ricky had different fathers, and in the movie, their mom treated them differently. Ricky was kind of the favorite child, and Doughboy was the problem child. So, and in a way, Black America has, well, at least some parts of it have proceeded down that path. So now you have multiple children from one mother with multiple fathers. So that was interesting. He put that in his movie early, and 20 to 30 years later, we're still grappling with that as a community. There's so much I could say about it, but another thing that stood out to me is HBCUs. I'm from Buffalo, New York, and we heard just a little bit about HBCUs. I heard just a little bit about HBCUs at school, on TV, via A Different World, and I saw Spike Lee School Days at an early age. But at the end of Boys in the Hood, Trey went off to Morehouse and Brandy went off to Spelman. So that always stuck in my mind, and I think that for kids who didn't know about HBCUs, that kind of put that in our zeitgeists, at our early age. So that was, Boys in the Hood was a great movie, and again, the violence in some of these neighborhoods, based upon what I know now, I kind of wonder if it's from a lot of these boys being raised by women versus being raised by men who know how to de-escalate situations and not get emotional over things to the point where revenge has to be taken out on other people. So I thought again, a lot of these things, John Singleton really had his finger on the pulse of the inner city and of Black America, and a lot of the dynamics that we were facing back then and that we're still facing now. He, there were four other big movies that he made, such as Baby Boy, Higher Learning, and Poetic Justice. I think of those three, Baby Boy made a huge impact on me. A lot of West Coast movies made living on the West Coast look fun. I didn't particularly identify with Jody and what his life was like, but again, it was another character that didn't have a male figure around. And in Baby Boy, Jody, because he didn't launch, or he didn't leave the house right away, he became the de facto man of the house, and he fought with Melvin, played by Ving Rhames, whom his mother started dating. So when Melvin came around, I think Jody felt threatened, and they really butted heads throughout the movie. And then at the end, they had a bonding moment where Jody and his best friend, played by Omar Gooding, they shot Snoop's character. And at the end of the movie, Jody is in his room, kind of pondering, what happened. And then Melvin is there, and they had just gotten into a fight maybe a couple nights ago or a couple weeks ago. And Melvin slowly walks in, reaches for the gun with a paper towel. Jody gives him the gun, and Melvin takes it away. And that was a moment where Melvin really understood, because he had been in the streets as a young guy himself, and he really understood what Jody was going through. And then at the end of the movie, they turn out to be cool, which I thought was, that part of the movie really touched me. So I thought that those two movies John Singleton made really touched upon the importance of manhood and male figures and mentoring, particularly in the life of boys and young men. Higher Learning, I think that, as a Black person going to a predominantly white institution, a lot of us go through what went on in that movie. Obviously, the ending was kind of sad in terms of what happened to Tyra Banks' character. But one funny thing that stands out to me is my first year of college was at SUNY Brockport, which is near Rochester, New York. And my first roommate was white, and he was from the country. He had long blonde hair, and he was a little eccentric, a little different. And I took a picture, and I took it back to Buffalo. And one of my best friend's buddies looked at the picture and said, "Dude, it's Remy." And we all got a kick out of that. And Remy was one of the characters in Higher Learning. And so that was a powerful film as well. And Poetic Justice was more of a drama, with two main characters were Tupac and Janet Jackson. And that was pretty solid as well. I have to admit, I'm not as knowledgeable on any of John's other films, but those four were made when I was coming of age and transitioning from being a teen into a young adult. So those are the four movies that really stand out to me, and those are four powerful Black movies in the 1990s. And I'm sorry to hear about his loss. I heard that it was due to hypertension, and I think Dr. Boyce Watkins said that there were some issues over his estate and his affairs, which his family is kind of working through right now. But I just want to make a short video to salute John Singleton. He made some pretty good stories. He portrayed Black people in a very positive way on the big screen. And I want to say rest in peace, John Singleton. So with that, I will conclude. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. If any one of his movies touched you, please leave your words and reactions in the comment section below. Thank you, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.